So let's get somewhere back towards the main topic of why you're here. Um,
Right. Somebody asked me to include AI in Q prompt.
did they?
Yes.
Okay.
um, uh, apparently, the Q prompts audience is divided into like it's, let's say, 20, 40, 40. The 40% is individual users,
Mhm.
people like you who don't have a dedicated prompter operator controlling the prompter. Then you have dedicated prompter operators controlling the prompter for other people, their customers. And then the remaining 20% is probably distributors who package up QPrompt and then just sell it or include it with whatever they sell,
Mhm.
which is great and definitely a thing under the GPL. So I'm happy with that. And the people who aren't prompter operators, the people who do it themselves, they are seeing that other applications are starting to offer that the text scrolling happens automatically based on what they're reading. Um, but and that makes them want that. But
Mhm.
by wanting that, they're ignoring the fact that one of the purposes of the teleprompter is to control the speed at which you're speaking.
Mhm.
If you go very fast, the text will kind of force you to slow down into a more intelligible speed.
Mhm.
Um, and the same goes if you're too slow, then it kind of forces you to read a little bit faster. So whatever I end up implementing, I wanted to satisfy that need of matching a desired words per minute or lines per minute measurement. And for that, what I figured so far is that this system needs to be divided into a few parts. All processed in parallel via multi-threading, and there will be first a speech to text a model,
Mhm.
probably based on Whisper, that's going to be making all the text as you're talking.
Mhm.
And that's going to be in one thread. Then on another thread, you are going to have a comparison happening between the actual script and that generated text.
Mhm.
And then it's going to loosely match things to give you a rough estimation of what have you read so far. And then that result will be used to highlight or color text as you are speaking. And once and then enters the user. If the model hangs and it isn't updating fast enough, then on the user UI thread, the user will be able to manually move the cursor a few words forward or a few words back, depending on where they are actually at. And then by forcing the cursor into that position, that makes the model that takes sorry, the model that takes care of matching the generated text with the actual script. It makes them resync at that point.
Mhm.
And then once we have all of that, we end up with a position that the user is reading, and then it's a matter of moving the text to reach that position in their reading area towards the center of the screen.
Mhm.
So then for that, there will be a separate model. As this will be a second or third model. I
Mhm.
probably a second one because the comparison part will probably just be heuristics. Um, but the other model will control the speed based on the cursor placement and based on other parameters such as text font size and the dimensions of the screen overall. Um, QPrompt has a lot of parameters when it comes to how you can make that text appear on screen. You can adjust the size to be very tiny or humongous. You can adjust the corners to essentially make it towards the center of the screen, and then you can move that to anywhere on the screen, and that allows you to have like blank space around the corners and stuff, which is really good if you have the teleprompter way close to you. If you push that prompter back, then you typically want larger text and use the full width of the screen. And if you're an Xorg user, you might want to rotate that display 45 degrees, and then you have more horizontal space on the diagonals. So, yeah, Easter egg. Anyways, hopefully, I've yet to make that one, but yes, and the idea is to have the idea is that in the end, okay, we have those two models, and if the user is going too fast, the prompter will go at the necessary speed to make sure that they are reading where they're supposed to be reading. But at the same time, we are going to be counting how many words are they speaking or how many lines are they scrolling. And based on that, we compare that to the desired amount, and then we can essentially give them some graphical feedback, a border around the screen, and have that border be a different color and gradually intensify or reduce in intensity to essentially provide that feedback, telling them you're going too fast or you should probably go a little bit faster. And yeah, so that's where I want to go next with QPrompt, basically. That and the automation features, like you press a button and I mean not you press a button, you scroll through an area and then suddenly that sends a signal over to OBS to trigger a different camera. So yeah, stuff like that. But in the end, where we'll actually end up going will depend on where the Patreons want me to go, because I do a poll, and everyone who's a Patreon gets to vote. You don't even need to be a paid subscriber. You just have to be in the feed. You get to vote. And yeah, that I have a few features from a previous poll in the backlog, so I will probably won't start working on this until I've worked through at least a couple more of those from the backlog. But that's the goal. Hopefully, we can get a more convenience for everyone who wants to use QPrompt.